Hello, this presentation is going to be about the Armenian Genocide. A general overview of what this presentation will be on is that there were 5 factors to the genocide that contributed to why it was able to happen: nationalism, separatism, World War I as a whole, possible reforms coming from the Young Turks, and religious motivations in the region. There was a certain strategic aspect to the mass killings, such as the Armenians were being walked to Syria, then killed. There is a strategic force behind the genocide, with the racialization of the Armenians from the Young Turks and the Church. Turkish nationalism was on a rise in the area before the genocide. The nationalism came from the events that were involved with the fall of the Ottoman Empire. There were 2 battles that caused this. One they lost, which caused a loss of hope in the country. It was the Battle of Sarikamash. And they won another battle which caused a rush of pride, proving they were very strong. This was the Battle of Gallipoli. The idea of separatism in the region was caused by the Turkish state creating a separatism between Turkish race and the Armenian race that they believed did not exist. They claimed that the mass deportations were for the best of the country and or security of the country. The war in general allowed the genocide to occur and not be seen as much. World War I allowed them to be able to blame the failures on the government on the Armenians. This was kind of like a Hitler type thing that we saw in World War II. As well as it allowed the mass deportation and mass killings of the Armenians without being told that this was a bad thing. Also, it came from the fact that they were not seen as a group of people. The idea of reforms coming from the Young Turks, who wanted a more unified state, was something that caused this genocide, due to the fact that in order to get this unified state, they had to eliminate their Armenians that they were not a fan of. The Turkish government didn't view them as a group of people, so there was not an official policy against this extermination. So that's why reforms coming was a big factor in the genocide. Religious motivations in the region, which was arguably the biggest part of why the genocide occurred. The church racialized the Armenians. By doing so, the Turkish state denies that the genocide happens to this day. Eye-opening quotes from the perpetrators of the Armenian Genocide. This first quote was from Talat, which was a leader of the Young Turks. The purpose of sending away certain people is to safeguard the welfare of our fatherland for the future. For wherever they may live, they will never abandon their seditious ideas, so we must try to reduce the numbers as much as possible. This is basically him saying that he has to do this in order to achieve his goal of a unified Turkey. The second quote was from Ebner Pasha. He said, "We have this country absolutely under our control. I have no desire to shift the blame onto our underlings, and I am entirely willing to accept the responsibility myself for everything that has taken place. I am convinced that we are completely justified in doing this owing to the hostile attitude of the Armenians toward the Ottoman government. But we are the real rulers of Turkey, and no underling will dare proceed to a matter of this kind without our orders." This is him basically saying he has no regrets of what he's done and he wants to keep doing this in order to achieve his goals. I found a take-home message from my research and what it should be from this presentation, or that this genocide was very well thought out and had a strategic actions to attain their scary vision of a unified Turkey. It speaks to the disgusting nature of the Turks. Here are my works cited. The end.